Hey everybody, we are back. It's another week. We got two shows this week, not just one, two, and three shows for Star Wars Andor. But I'm Mike Sandoval here with MUSE TV, and you're here for a Star Wars Andor watch party and after show. Right next to me on my right, Jeffrey, give him the spiel.
Once again, it is me, the J to the E to the double F ray. The energy might be weird tonight, but we're going to have fun nonetheless. How are you, Mike?
Doing good. It's kind of weird how to do that. Three episodes are dropping today.
Right.
We've seen four.
We've seen four,
Uh-huh.
and we're probably only going to watch through one, but three are dropping tonight. So I think we'll watch through one and take our break and watch through one, but then we'll come back and talk about all three that are dropping.
Exactly.
And maybe a little bit of the fourth, but we won't deliver any spoilers for the fourth. But we will.
And here's the thing that's good too. We have another watch party tomorrow for She-Hulk, so we can continue on what we talked about with 2 and 3 tomorrow.
Okay, great.
So
anything we may have missed tonight, we can pick up tomorrow, provided we're all still sane and happy and still functioning. Hopefully, knock on wood.
Not or anything. And
speaking of She-Hulk, by the way, one correction I had to make. Now I do stand by some of my criticisms about how they wrote Titania. I think I forgot. So my understanding is the reason she was attacking the jury was she was trying to escape from court due to a traffic violation. But I think
better, right?
I think that, but to me, it's not great storytelling. But basically, okay, she was busting through there because she was trying to escape because she had a traffic ticket she was trying to get out of. Even that's kind of satirical and but that's how that. I was curious, wait, why is she attacking the court? She was just trying to get out, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I was talking to Hannah earlier. Hannah Fletcher here on MUSE TV. Okay. She saw She-Hulk.
Right.
And I asked her, "Oh, what's your opinion on it?" She goes, "I don't like it." She was like, "I don't like it." She goes, "I like the first episode, but the rest was kind of eh."
Well, again, I think they said this was going to be a half-hour sitcom type show, but I think they needed to prep the audience a little bit better for that, because once you get out of that first episode, it's it's really just a legal sitcom, just with a mild superhero angle.
Yeah.
It's not a superhero show per se, but those elements might get worked in later. But okay, so I think that thing with the jury and Titania was just kind of glossed over, and not I think they could have maybe written a better angle for Titania there. And it's not that I think Jamila Jamil is bad. I think she looks great in the role, and I think she's a good performer. I just wish, I would like them to develop that character a little bit more, but whatever. So moving on from there. So we're going to watch the first episode tonight, but 3 are dropping tonight for the whole shebang.
Yep.
The first 3 episodes. So then when we come back after watching the first episode, we will have our in-depth discussion for the first 3, right? But but the weird thing is, Mike, you and I have watched the first 4 episodes.
Yep. I have seen it already 4 times.
So here is my issue. I didn't want to do single episode reviews for the show because, and I don't think this is a spoiler, I feel like the first 3, they're not really very standalone. And it's kind of like a continuous story.
Yep.
So because of that, unlike say a show like Strange New Worlds, where it's more episodic.
Yeah.
I didn't feel good writing single episode reviews for this show, just because the episodes, especially the ones we're getting tonight, are quite short in length. So it just didn't feel like the right thing to do, especially when I might feel differently by the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be a long season. We are in for a 12 episode season. Even though we're getting 3 tonight, we're getting 12 overall, and then we're going to get another 12 for a second season. So I kind of want to just see this through and see where we're going to end up after the 12 episodes at least. But what do you
Yeah.
think?
No, I agree with you because I love the fact, and this is the one thing that I saw, every episode connects to each other.
So far.
It's a story. Yeah, so far. It feels a story, which I like, but it's just the whole thing. When you drop 3 episodes, you're
Okay.
literally talking about all 3
Now,
episodes.
I think the problem viewer before, I'm not going to get too in depth right now, but I think the problem people might have with this show is that it's very deliberately paced, and it's very different from anything we've ever seen from Star Wars, and I think you would agree.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I would agree, and I love it. I'll tell you right
Okay.
now, I love the way I love the way, and I think for some people, people are really gonna like it, and
Okay.
others are not gonna like it.
I just my thing about like whenever we get a new Star Wars project production, it's always so hysterical, and I wish we could have like normal, not hysterical conversations about Star Wars media, but that's
Yeah.
pretty much impossible at this point.
Mhm.
I'm a little more mixed on it than you,
Mhm.
but it's more like I want to see where they're going with certain things, and I think where they're going could either have a good payoff, or there are some things where I'm not so impressed with that might not pay off as well. Now, I will say, thus far, I'm very impressed with the acting, with the production design, the set design, cinematography, the music. Production values are all top notch. Like this, I think they've achieved a really high level of production values with this show that I think looks even better than most of Kenobi and probably even Book of Boba Fett, I would say.
Yeah, I
It
agree, and
looks and it looks like they did a lot of exterior shooting
Mhm.
out. Well, what do they call it for Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian? They call it the volume, right?
Call it the volume. They were
Right.
using, but from what I heard is that, and we saw at D23 and what we've heard at Star Wars Celebration, that they didn't use the volume that much, but a lot of it
Right.
was practical sets.
Yeah, so and you do get that. It did look like they did a lot more built sets
Mhm.
that are like big, and then a lot more exterior shooting in this show, and it shows because
Mhm.
and look, I love the Mandalorian, and I even like the Book of Boba Fett, even though I think the problem with it is that it undercut itself with all the Mandalorian material.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that show it looked and felt a bit too claustrophobic and a bit too enclosed and small scale, when it's supposed to be like Tatooine and the desert,
Mhm.
and they shot that in Tunisia in for the prequels and the original trilogy. So, but this show looks like the production values are good, the sets are really good, and it looks cinematic too, even though
Mhm.
it's a TV
Yeah,
series.
and that's the one thing that really popped off the screen, because when I saw it at the premiere last
Yeah,
Thursday, and you see it on the big screen, this really does play very well on a big screen,
right.
and it really does have that cinematic feel to it.
And I think Kenobi. I don't know what happened with Kenobi. Sometimes it felt like because not all of Kenobi looked bad, but
Mhm.
sometimes it looked a little. It was starting to look a little Sci-Fi Channel, a little direct to video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you expect a little bit more.
And the one
It,
thing that I
yeah.
noticed is that with the volume, I
Hmm.
think it depends on what cameras you use, because some of the cameras that were being used picked it
Right.
up easily, and others it would blend in seamless. Like in Mandalorian, it seems like a seamless blend when
Right.
the shot on camera.
I think
Certain other ones doesn't come out too much.
I it could be the cameras or whatever, but I feel like some of the Marvel shows have this issue too at times.
Yeah,
But uh very good cast. So let's run down the cast cuz we got a while.
definitely. We do got a while. And also too, for this one, we're actually gonna play the interview that I had from last Friday
Okay.
with Diego Luna.
So we
But we're
had
at the halfway mark.
Diego Luna. He's our returning actor back as Cassian Andor.
Mhm.
So this story, now this is already revealed, so this isn't a spoiler. I mean, so this is 5 years before the events of Rogue One. So this is sort of the backstory of Cassian Andor and how he becomes where we see him in Rogue One. He's this major league rebel spy for the Rebel Alliance. We have Stellan Skarsgård as Luthen Rael,
Mhm.
who appears to be a spy or a double agent. Adria Arjona of Narco. What is it? Narco?
Narcos?
Narcos. Excuse me. Adria Arjona as Bix Kayleen, who works in a salvage yard. Denise Gauth as Dedra Miro, an Imperial officer. Kyle Solar as Cyril. And Fiona Shaw as Marva. Elsewhere throughout the show, we know we are also getting the return of Genevieve O'Reilly as Mamakma. Now, how crazy is this? Genevieve O'Reilly played Mamakma in Revenge of the Sith for scenes that were cut from the film, not even in the theatrical cut. Came back to play the character again. Let's see. Originally 11 years later in Rogue One, and now she's getting to play the character again here. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Now, good on good on Lucasfilm for keeping these actors around, even though they were playing basically bit parts or just small parts that didn't even see the theatrical release originally. We're getting Forrest Whitaker will be back in this show as Saw Gerrera, who had that kind of partisan guerrilla anti-imperial group in Rogue One. Who else? Like, we know Saw Gerrera is going to be in it. So we got a good cast here. Any good standouts for you so far from this cast list?
To be honest,
I mean, Diego Luna, of course.
Yeah, that's automatic. But Stellan Skarsgård is a great intro into this whole lore. I love the way his acting is, especially since what I've seen so far, and it's really good. And also, the one that really impressed me is Adria Arjona.
Is it pronounced Adria?
I think it is. Adria?
Is it Arjona or Arjona?
Arjona.
Arjona? Because she is Mexican, right?
I do not know that.
Or no?
She is.
She's she's Puerto Rican. I apologize. But she did live in Mexico City.
Could be Arjona.
But she is Latin American.
Yeah.
I was just trying to see if I was just trying to pronounce it correctly. I want to pronounce her name correctly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. She's definitely a surging talent right now, so I hope this will be the start of big things for her.
Yeah.
And look, they're doing 24 episodes, so I mean, I guess no matter what, they're doing 24. So,
and that's the one thing, we're getting 12 this time, and
Yeah.
then they start shooting again in November, and then they're going to do another 12.
Now I guess if this show somehow just bombed, would they cancel the second season, or could they even do that at this point?
I don't think so. I think
I
they'll
guess
have.
they're committed. We have to make all 24 no matter what, I guess.
And I think they're budgeted for that already because I
Right.
don't think they would go into production.
Eat your hearts out, other streaming things that you can't you greenlight everything and then cancel it after.
Oh, which one does that?
I don't know. A bunch.
One that has a little purple in its background?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know either, but I think some people who
Why
are
are you
watching.
why are you throwing everyone under the bus, Mike?
Because there's a lot of changes going on in this industry.
Ugh.
A lot
So
of changes.
how was so you went to the premiere event. So how was
Yes.
that?
That was a lot of fun, actually. It was smaller than some of the other premieres that I've been
What
to.
theater was it?
El Capitan.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was great because the cast of Willow were like a section over from where we were.
Oh, that's neat.
Once again, Sasha Banks and Naomi was there.
Oh,
And
great.
didn't
Did you
run
get
into
to chat
them.
with him?
No, I did not.
But you're like buddies with Sasha. Sasha likes you.
Exactly. That's the thing. We've always crossed paths, but I didn't even know she was there
Oh,
until once we left. So
you should have asked her, "Hey, are we going to see you? Are we going to see Casca Reeves
kind of
back?"
had,
And
yeah, I kind of had a feeling that she was going to be there, but I didn't reach out beforehand because there was so
I
much stuff
feel
going on
I feel like she's doing all I feel like she's in LA now, and I feel like she's going to all these events. It would make sense if she's in the new season, you know?
there. Mhm.
It would make
I,
sense, right?
it would make sense, and I think sh let's and like I'm going to be honest with like she's if she wants to wrestle, great, but I don't think she
Oh,
needs to wrestle anymore. She has a great. I see her becoming a really big star
she totally could.
easily.
Um, I mean, it's really up to her. I mean, I hope she does because she's so great at what she does,
Yeah.
you know? But she could try other things, and I mean, wrestling's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
WWE is not going anywhere. You know,
Mhm,
WWE is like they're they're like idiot proof, they're scandal proof at this point.
mhm.
WWE is not going anywhere for a long time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So she can pursue other things as
Mhm.
for a while, and if she want, I mean, she if she wants to return at some point, she can. And I mean, same for Naomi. You know.
Yeah. Exactly,
Also,
and
they probably also
that's what
they're
I see
yeah.
Sasha doing like a Rock and really building into this movie career
She
and
could.
doing.
I mean, she could.
Mhm.
She could. She could. Because she's smart and she's creative and she's ambitious. Um, and she doesn't take crap from people. That's the other thing.
Mm.
I you know now granted, this is just my opinion. I would not have walked out of WWE for the reasons she did, but look, she might have been at her breaking point, so I don't know. Same
Yeah.
with Naomi.
And also too, we don't know what's going on in the background of
Uh-oh,
things.
spam bot.
Yep.
Yep.
We blocked them.
Thank God. Yeah,
Um,
we
we
don't.
don't know
But
what's going on in the background, and I never am going to ask. That's
but
their.
speaking of but speaking of the premiere, so the cast of Willow was there. I'm actually looking forward to Willow.
The
Was
cast of
War
Willow was there.
was Warwick Davis there?
He wasn't there, but
Okay.
everybody else was. The rest of the cast was.
Okay, do you remember what the name of the droid is in this show? It's like B2 EMO, right? They call
Yeah,
him
because they call
B.
B for short.
Okay, they call him B2 or B,
Mhm.
but like it's spelled like it's B2 EMO, so I want to say BMO, but it's B2.
B2 emo.
But BMO is like a character from Adventure Time. Do you remember Adventure Time?
Yep.
There's a
I
little
never
like TV. There's a little TV guy, and
mhm,
its name. I don't. Its name is BMO.
mhm.
You remember BMO?
I don't remember him, but I remember
Okay.
the show.
I'm trying to look up BMO now.
I
So
just
I
had
when I see the character's name spelled, I want to say BMO, but it's B2 EMO. So it's B or B2.
mhm. Let me share screen. I got the character right now.
Yeah. I like the droid though. What do you
Mhm.
think of the new droid?
I like it. It's different. Something very different. It's a different look, different attitude, different character. So it's pretty
I
cool.
like I like his voice too. It's voiced by Dave Chapman.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. You could buy your B2 EMO at the Droid Factory figure now on
Oh,
Disney.com.
there you go. What scale is this though? Is this vintage scale or is this 6 inch? I
I
only get Black Series 6 inch style.
it's not Black Series.
Okay.
I
So
mean
it looks
pack
like it's the
1/7/10 by 1/3 to one and a half.
that's cool though. So you can go to what website is this? Is
Disney.
this
Shop Disney.
Shop Disney? You can get you can get
Mhm.
the little droid.
Yep. And tell them
But
Muse
I like
TV
that.
give us a commission on that.
Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
But I like all of his. He's quirky. He's got like this cute little stutter. Um, you know, the key to droid characters in Star Wars is to make them quirky and fun, and he's definitely quirky.
Definitely, that is true.
Uh, let's see. We got about 20. All right. So when do you want to show us your interview clip with Mr. Luna?
We could do it now if we want. So that we
Yeah, I
could take
think let's go ahead and play that now. So and set it up for our viewers.
in those episodes.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. You have no idea what it meant. We've been working so hard. It's been such a long journey, intense one, you know. And finally, we got to not just celebrate the show, but witness the first reaction of a real audience, you know. And it was so special because people were invested and they were there with the characters. They laughed. They emotionally. I mean, the ride it was loaded, you know. You could tell by the end people were were pretty much with Cassian and the struggle of this community. uh, and it's cool also to be able to see your work in that big screen, you know. I love cinema. I started acting because of my love for cinema. I love Tony Gilroy's work in movies. I love what Kathleen Kennedy has produced, you know, the films she's produced. So even though we're working with this long format, for me, it was a beautiful way to celebrate our work, to watch it on the big screen, you know, once, and enjoy it with an audience again, because it's so different, you know, when you watch something with people around, you know, that energy is contagious.
Exactly. And in this series, we see Cassian in a different way than we saw him in Rogue One. We're seeing how we got to that point. How was it to develop the character and really tell his backstory and what he is all about?
It made sense to me, you know, because it's important. These characters, the sacrifice they make, you know, the commitment they have, uh, what they do for the cause, it makes them very special. But we don't understand really why, you know, what gets them there. And this story, I think it's going to be fun and interesting for audiences, and inspiring, because it's about that journey, you know. When we start, the Cassian we see is a guy that doesn't believe he is capable of bringing change. He doesn't believe in himself nor in change. You know, he's just trying to survive in a very cynical and skeptical way, you know. And this is a story about an awakening, an awakening of a revolutionary, and the articulation of the rebellion, which to me is a beautiful story to tell these days. The strength and power of the people, basically.
Yeah, and the one
Power to the people. Oh wait, I can't hear you, Mike.
exactly, I forgot
Oh,
to
there we go.
unmute. Well, if you want to see the rest of the interview, you can go to MUSE TV and watch the whole interview. We got one more question in there, which we talk about the importance of diversity within Star Wars and
Yes,
the fact of what we've seen so far with the addition of so many Latino characters, which growing up, I never saw myself in Star Wars. And to see it now and to see what the future generation of filmmakers hopefully inspires them into some new filmmaking. So we talk about that as well, since it is Hispanic Heritage Month.
all right.
So it was
But
a fun
Mike,
interview. I was really
power
excited.
to the
It was
people.
the very first time we've ever done a Star Wars one-on-one interview.
It's time to give the
Yep.
power back to the people.
I think
Empower
because
the people.
I think they saw too many of our Star Trek interviews, and they're just like, "Hey, we got to even that up. Let me give you a Star Wars interview."
Diego Luna he sounds really passionate about this project. He sounds really dedicated, and he clearly cares. So
That's what's
congrats to
crazy.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy. Like he left, he was at the premiere the day before, and literally left to go to Miami to go do interviews in Miami the next morning for this show. So if you don't love this show, you're not going to do that. And I know he loves this show, and he's very passionate of the work he's done in it. He's an executive producer on this show now.
Right.
So it's, I mean, he has a lot invested into it.
So Tony Gilroy, who's a showrunner, he wrote the first 3 episodes that we're going to see tonight. The first 3 episodes are directed by Toby Haynes, which makes sense. Toby Haynes actually directed, I would say, it looks like he directed half the episodes this season. So but there are several directors. There's Toby Haynes, Susanna White, and Benjamin Caron. The other episode writers besides Tony Gilroy are his brother Dan Gilroy, Stephen Schiff, and Bo Willimon. And Tony Gilroy, he was the co-writer of Rogue One, and I guess he oversaw the reshoots for Rogue One, as I recall, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But who was the original? The original writer was Chris Weitz, and John Knoll and Gary Whitta. So Tony Gilroy, I guess, basically finished up the film and I guess helped rewrite the final act and oversaw the reshoots that had that final act, which seems to be the most praised thing about Rogue One, from what I recall. I still would have liked to have seen like what the original version would have been like,
Same here.
Or see like what they had before the reshoot, like what they assembled before the reshoots, even if it wasn't finished, just kind of see like what they had in mind. Because if you look at those early trailers for Rogue One, there's a lot of differences from the final product. So
yeah.
I would have liked to have seen how things changed a little bit.
And I love Rogue One and the way it came out, but I'm still curious what direction.
I'm still holding back a lot on what's happening because there are things I want to say, but like I kind of want to save until we come back to talk about.
I agree with you.
Our post-episode discussion, so to speak. So I'm kind of biting my tongue.
Yep. But with that, as a reminder, just to drop it down, tomorrow we return for She-Hulk episode 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
6. So we'll be back tomorrow, same time, 11 p.m. Pacific, 2 a.m. Eastern time. So don't miss that. As we'll be back to discuss She-Hulk tomorrow.
This is it. This is interesting because now we're getting dual premieres
Mhm.
on on two major streaming shows from Disney Plus this week. I don't think that's happened for a while.
Yeah. What
I
else
want
is
to
premiering
say,
this week?
uh, well, in theaters or on streaming?
On
Or
streaming.
well, She-Hulk episode 6,
Mhm.
Harley Quinn, if you want to count Harley Quinn, right?
Yeah.
That's animated.
Mhm.
The thing is, House of the Dragon is on HBO first, right?
Yeah.
So, what else is big in streaming right now? We know
House of the Dragon, definitely. Lord of the Rings, is that done already?
Oh,
You
I
dropped
don't
them
think.
all.
Okay, I haven't been watching Lord of the Rings. That's the thing.
Me neither. I don't have Amazon Prime, so
Uh, uh, uh.
it wasn't in our review account. I noticed.
And you see, Netflix drop their typical thing is to drop everything off at once.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Which may be
is a League
changing.
of Their Own still running, or is a League of Their Own finished?
I think it's finished already.
Okay.
But
Okay,
Netflix.
so there is Rings of Power. So there is Rings of Power, and that's a
Yeah.
big deal.
But you do know Netflix has been talking about changing that format of a binge drop to a single episode drop.
There are pros and cons, I think.
Yeah.
I think it works better for, let's just say, for example, Strange New Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I think episodic weekly works better for that show because it's an episodic show and it's not like a single through line story.
Yeah.
Now I think Kenobi might have been able to benefit if they just dropped it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
At least, even though this feels like a continuous story so far, at least we're getting 3 episodes tonight. So
Yeah.
the benefit to the weekly format is you can build the hype and anticipation, and you can build this like kind of like online fandom, the online conversation. And then if you binge it and you drop it all at just one big drop, then it's kind of just there and it's gone like the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and to me, I don't think that really helps with subscriber base and keeping a subscriber base is by dropping everything all at once. I mean, we're seeing it with Netflix now. It's starting to affect them.
But but here was my thing. At first, I really liked that model for Netflix because like it's like I'm like all the episodes, gimme, gimme, gimme. And
Yeah.
the only drawback is that like, you know, once I finish a season, you have that binge withdrawal. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, now like man, it's all over now, and now I got nothing to do. And what am I gonna do? I gotta wait 1 or 2 years for another season.
Yep.
You're stuck so now you're stuck waiting after you binge that whole season. But beforehand, it was one of my favorite things about Netflix was like, okay, there are all these new episodes of a cool new show, and I can just watch them all right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
True.
that's just my perspective.
Mm-hmm. I think so. After this series, it's Mandalorian, correct? For Star Wars?
Presumably.
Because that's February 16th, I believe.
The Bad Batch, I think, is going to be coming out in the fall.
Okay, so we'll be here. Bad Batch will be for Christmas then.
Okay, so let's see. Bad Batch season 2. Okay, so Bad Batch season 2 is January, and then I think Tales of the Jedi, which is an anthology shorts series, will be I think October.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me think. I have a column up with
October 26th is Tales
right.
of the.
Thank you. And then I want to look up Ahsoka. The thing is, for Mandalorian, we only know 2023, and that's like a broad period.
I thought
But
they announced it at D23 the date.
no, they didn't give us they gave us 2023, not an actual date. Willow is November, I'm pretty sure. So Mandalorian is 2023. That's all we freaking know.
Yeah.
Let's see, Ahsoka is 2023. Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, because
Skeleton Crew don't think it has a date yet.
yeah, for Mandalorian, they didn't give us a date, but they gave us a month and a year. So it was February 2023
When did they say February?
at D23
No, they didn't.
at the end of their little quick commercial teaser.
Well, I have it right here, and
Even
no, it says season 3 streaming 2023. It doesn't say February.
well, CNET has February 2023.
That sounds like speculation to me.
I remember seeing or somebody saying February 2023 when I was at the panel.
Okay, well, technically Disney has not announced February. Technically, they haven't, so that's not official. Willow is definitely
Willow's Christmas time, right?
Willow's November 30th, so just in time for Christmas. So we'll have Willow, Tales of the Jedi this year. Next year, the big shows are Mandalorian and Ahsoka for Star Wars.
Yeah.
2023. Elsewhere, I'm just looking up the other. The Ironheart is in 2023. The Marvels is 2023. It's a movie though. And I think I want to say Secret Invasion is 2023.
Yes, it is 2023.
And Werewolf by Night is this year.
Yeah, October 7th is when it comes out.
Yeah, Secret Invasion is 2023.
Oh,
but we don't have a date.
Now I remember, as confirmed at Star Wars Celebration, the Mandalous Season 3 release date is February 2023. But that could have been changed. So
who wrote that?
That was with Games Radar. And see, because I remember seeing February of 2023 somewhere. If it was at Disney at D23, it could have been at Star Wars.
I never remember hearing or seeing.
Because I remember them saying February, because I was like, because it was in the editing process. They weren't shooting anymore. It was in post-production.
Now, I've got the official thing here from Disney, and it says Disney Plus 2023. That's all it says. So I think maybe they're shooting for February, but it sounds premature, is what it sounds like.
That's one thing. They may have been shooting.
They may have jumped the gun.
But like they say, like everything, until you actually see, even with Disney saying anything, like you can't take it for word.
Well, we got the teaser trailer. Disney will announce the date when they're ready to announce the date.
Yeah.
And with streaming shows, they like to announce the date like a few weeks before, because I think that's the general strat. They want to release all the marketing like closer to release, because that's the usual strategy with streaming. Otherwise, they're worried the buzz will die down and people will stop caring.
Yeah, even though with shows like this, they're gonna care.
Of those shows that we're getting next year, which are you looking forward to the most?
Mandalorian season 3 for sure.
Right, me as well. Now, do you think
at all?
Do you think they should make more Obi-Wan Kenobi? Do you think they should do another season or another miniseries?
It's hard to say. I
think?
was one of the few who like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, yeah.
But if they do another series,
Okay.
it would have to be closer to a little bit before New Hope, or a
You
little
want to
far
know?
time
I'm not
spread
going
out.
to say who said it, but there was an internet reviewer who I normally really respect,
Mhm,
and it had this weird criticism about Kenobi,
mhm,
saying Ewan McGregor is not a TV actor; he's a film actor.
mhm.
And I'm like, have you not heard of Fargo? He won like a primetime Emmy for that.
Yeah,
Like the dude's won Emmy awards for TV. Like
and also too,
what?
TV, just because it's on TV doesn't mean that it's shot like a
I
TV
mean,
series.
a lot of and a lot of big time film actors are doing TV now
Mhm.
and have
Yep,
like Tom Hardy has done TV, and he's
yeah,
done some good work on TV, as I recall. So I mean, it's not. And Hardy, I would definitely consider a film actor. Wouldn't you agree?
yeah, I agree.
So I
And
mean,
that's the thing. A role is a role. An acting gig is an acting gig, whether it's TV or film. If it's
like Tom Cruise is one actor. Like I don't think we've ever really seen him do much TV, have we?
no,
Like there are only a few, but these days we see a lot more actors like crossing over and just doing both because I mean, TV's gotten a lot better in the last, I guess, 15 years. Really, ever since Lost,
yeah,
I think, ever since like kind of Lost kind of pioneered that whole prestige TV. And I guess 24 a little bit too in 24's heyday. In
hmm,
24's heyday, kind of
yeah,
had that kind of prestige things where you would see a lot of film actors and like a lot of crossover, and ever since then you'd start seeing more of it.
mhm,
But yeah, that it really bothered me just because I felt it was just such a weird thing to say because Ewan McGregor's done TV before Kenobi and he's won awards for it. So it's not like a new thing. And I mean like Fargo would I'm not like a huge Fargo fan or anything, but that was like a really celebrated TV show, was it not?
yes, it was,
Even though it
and
was based on a movie, but
yeah,
it became this hot
mhm,
TV show.
and that's the thing too. It's like I think it's an old school way of thinking that they're cinema actors, not television actors.
It's
They're
like an 80s, 90s
Broadway.
way of
It's
thinking.
yeah, it's like Broadway. They're Broadway actors, not movie actors or television actors. They stick to the stage, and that has completely changed.
Yeah.
All
Like
we're waiting for
I think that was the case like years ago, but
is
I feel like it hasn't been for a while,
yeah, and
for
it hasn't
cuz
been like this
yeah.
since like the 1930s, 1940s, where uh, a theater actor knew how to do everything, knew how to sing, knew how to dance, knew how to act, did Broadway, did movies,
Right.
was multi-talented.
Yeah,
Whereas we got
but like now you can probably there are only like a few there are really only a few actors you can see who are really just sticking with films.
mhm,
There's really only a few
yeah,
who like you'll never see crossover in the TV.
right.
But oh, as for Kenobi, I'm fine if we don't see any more.
Mhm,
I think I think it finished strong, so I was happy about that.
mhm,
I um I think Ewan McGregor's open to doing more. It's just that, but like, what else can you really do? Like,
yeah,
you did this story, and I think if you do any more, you just risk messing with the whole timeline further, which I think they've done enough already with having.
And that's where I have that little thing where it's like I would be happy if they get away from the Skywalker saga, and
Right.
people related to the Skywalker saga. It's okay to bring them in because it could intertwine, but I want to see new stories. I want to see new adventures, new things, and that's what Andor pretty much is. It's a new thing.
Well,
It's in the timeline, but it's a
right.
different.
Well, we're also getting Skeleton Crew, which looks
Mhm.
like a completely brand new story, new characters, and everything. As far as we know,
Mhm.
Ahsoka will be revisiting characters we already know, but they'll be in live action for the first time for many of them.
Yeah.
And then I don't think they're doing Rangers of the New Republic anymore, are they?
I don't think so. They haven't. They've been very silent about that one.
And we got Boba Fett and we got Kenobi, so
Yep.
I'll be curious. See, Skeleton Crew is interesting because it's like it doesn't appear to be anything pre-existing. It's not like an established character. So it's
Mhm.
not a Kenobi. It's not Boba Fett. But
Mhm.
Mandalorian wasn't an established character either. So I think that could maybe benefit Skeleton Crew because I think that was one of the big benefits for Mandalorian. They
Yeah.
did not. I think Mandalorian was so successful in its first season because they weren't worried about, okay, we don't know any of these characters. We've never seen them before, so we have no expectations for what they need to be.
Yeah.
Like all the main characters were brand new characters, basically,
Mhm.
between
Yeah.
Din Djarin, Grief Karga, Moff Gideon, like heroes and villains, all of them were brand new characters, so we didn't have to worry about
Mhm.
what they can and can't do, where they should be, what they should be doing. And I think that was the brilliance of John Favreau and Dave Filoni, their writing. They weren't they created a brand new set of characters so everyone was a blank slate.
Yep.
So
And they
they
didn't.
got yeah.
And that's the one thing I like is that the first season was on its own. The second season
Right.
is when they introduced.
Right. They
They
waited
brought
to
you
do
into
that.
the world.
Right.
Yeah, they brought you into the world.
So yeah, they did it slowly. So
Mhm.
that could massively help Skeleton Crew if they take a similar approach.
And
Even though it's about like kids.
yeah, and the acolytes or whatever.
Acolyte, we still know very little. All we know, I think, is that it's what is
It's
it?
set
It's
way.
High Republic. It's
Yeah,
High Republic era.
yeah,
So
which would
it's
be brand
very
new.
early in the past.
Yeah, and it would be brand new. That's something we have never seen before.
Okay. So we're getting down to the wire here. So in about 2 minutes,
Yep, I'll give you
we
the honors to explain how we do this time because
yeah,
I'm the one
sure.
who already does it. So it's all yours this time.
Oh, you want me to do it? Okay. So
We'll give you
once the clock
oh wait,
10
sorry. Do
wait, what
that
did I
again.
do?
I was shifting, giving you the screen, and it didn't
Okay.
exactly.
So
Do it.
once it gets to about 10 of the hour, we're gonna get to a point where we're going to go mute and we're gonna silence our cameras so we don't get copyright struck. We're gonna wait and we're gonna watch through the first episode, and then we will be back for our discussion of episodes 1 through 3. Because those are the 3 that are dropping tonight, and we might have some brief comments on episode 4. So in less than a minute, we should be getting our first 3 episodes of Andor on Disney Plus, and then we're gonna just take a short break. We're gonna watch, and then we'll be back once that's done. So stay tuned because then we'll have our after party discussion of Andor. So just sit tight.
And there
Now
you
we're in
go.
the
Now I
yeah.
know how to give you the full screen.
All right. Well, we're figuring it out as we go.
Yeah, until we get
Like
the new.
Indiana Jones, as we
Yep.
go.
until we get the new software. Then we're gonna have to start all over again.
Okay, so it should be up now. So let's check.
Yeah, it is up. They're all up.
Okay. All right,
So-
folks. So we'll talk to you. We're gonna check. Wait,
What?
I'm not getting them.
Are you serious? I got episode 1 through 3.
Where is it?
You may have to jump out and then jump back in.
Okay, here we go. I got him now.
There
All
you
right.
go.
We'll see you in a little bit, folks.
A bit.
Okay. Oof. All right, so we are just waiting on Mike. He is probably finishing up, and we will get to it. So just stay tuned for the after party for Cassian Andor. All right, here we go.
Oh, sorry. Pushing the wrong buttons today.
All right. All right, so it is premiere day, so now we're going to get to our after party discussion. So we'll be diving into the first 3 episodes. Look, all 3 episodes are out. So
they're all available for you to watch and everything like that.
These so these were slightly shorter than what I was kind of hoping for.
Yeah.
I think only the 4th episode was like what I would consider a proper episode length. But these first 3 parts are like basically a movie if you put them all together. Or you know what? I would really consider the first 3 episodes are basically the pilot episode.
Yeah.
Basically, they took a pilot, they broke it up into 3 parts, and here's what I would have done differently. I would have just made this one big pilot episode like Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Like, or, you know, back in the day, sometimes a TV series, rather than 2 episodes, they would start with like a 90-minute or a 2-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would have done here.
Yeah. And that's the one thing I'm kind of curious about. Once we get to episode 5,
Not even break these up into parts. Just give us one part. Because look, here's my thing.
Mhm.
Disney owns the service. They can do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
We're not constrained to old network guidelines and things. They can do this anyway. Like, why do we have to do it this way, Mike?
Yeah. They just want to prolong things because I don't think there really has anything up the slate that they could fill in that's going to draw traffic. So that's the reason why they do it like that. But that's the one thing. Like episode 1 through 3 has so much to do with the story.
Right.
Set it up to really start the explanation, and that's the one thing that if it was complete, I think it.
But if you did
like
if you did all these as just one episode,
Mm-hmm.
like it's like you're getting like a feature length episode premiere, which is basically what they did with the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
The first episode of the Bad Batch was like a 70-minute movie.
Yeah.
I just don't,
Or do it like the way Battlestar Galactica did in the past, back in the day, where it was a 1 hour episode.
Right. Well, here's my problem.
Mm-hmm.
The way they break these, the first episode didn't feel like a proper episode to me,
Mm-hmm.
and here's why.
Mhm.
It just kind of abruptly ends. It's not even like the ending of it didn't even really feel like a third act or a final act. There was no resolution. It's just, okay, like a ship crashed. There's this village of kids on Canary. One is clearly Cassian Andor, a young Cassian Andor. The other one is probably his younger sister, who he's searching for at the beginning. And they go off to investigate this crash site.
Mm-hmm.
And then the episode just ends. Like, that's not like, I mean, if that was all we got this week, that would have been terrible, I think.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, originally, if we would have had this one episode,
yeah,
it's kind of like, okay, where are we going? That's why, since they dropped the 3, it kind of gives you a little more exposition.
But I'm just saying, don't drop 3. Just combine. This is basically one episode, a pilot.
Yeah.
A pilot episode split up into 3 parts.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really understand that. I'd be okay if this means maybe we get 10 episodes this season instead of 12, right?
Yeah.
I would have been fine with that.
Oh yeah, I would have been fine with it as well, because this is, if anything needed to be combined, I would say 1 through 3 needed to be combined in order to make sure that you tell the story.
And it's kind of moot since they did drop all 3. The
Mm-hmm.
way it's broken up just didn't sit well with me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're getting all 3, like we got 4 right off the bat. So I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. It's just, to me,
No, I get it. I get.
To me, it's just once we were done with episode 3, like, okay, that's your first episode.
Mm-hmm.
That's your first episode. Was when we end on episode 3,
and that's why I'm glad that they released the 3 instead of 1. If they would have released just 1 episode, it would have come off very odd.
So I put it to Tony Gilroy. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it? The director?
Tony Gilroy.
Who's the director?
Gilroy. The director of this episode is.
I'm already blanking on the name.
Toby Haynes.
Toby Haynes.
Mm-hmm.
Re-release the first 3 episodes as one episode edited together. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's clearly how it kind of flows. Now, you know what the vibe I got watching I felt like I was watching like a Blade Runner, like a cyberpunk movie.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get that at all?
Yeah. I thought it was gritty. I thought it was it was different than what we've seen ever on.
Not just the gritty, realistic, grounded style, but just kind of like the setting and the vibe. Because we start out on that planet like Merlana 1,
Mhm.
and he's in like this red light district, and it reminded me of like Blade Runner or like a sci-fi cyberpunk thriller, more
Exactly.
so than Star Wars. It was,
Yeah.
and I thought that was interesting.
Mhm. And also, even like in the beginning, like seeing it, it kind of reminded me of Tron a little bit
Right.
with the light.
I can see that. But
But
also the music. It's like very electronica. It's like tech, it's synth, it's keyboard. It's not like an orchestra. The score is not very orchestral. It's very like kind of electronic synth kind of music. What did you think of that?
oh, I loved it. I like the look. I love the music. I think it fits for the environment that they were in, and I thought it was a great way to start this series.
So the way it starts out, Andor is he's visiting another planet. He's searching for his long lost sister, who he's been separated from their home planet Kenari. Um, Now these are not Imperials because this planet is under what is this organ? It's called corporate security or something.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I don't know if they have a more official title than that, but we only know them as corporate security who are like enforcers of the empire, but like they're allowed to self-govern basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they do answer the corporate sector authority, the CSA.
Yeah.
So they're corporate. So
Mm.
they police this planet that Andor, where he's in a brothel trying to find his lost sister. He gets into it with these two corporate security idiots.
Mhm.
You know, they try to shake him down. He ends up killing them. Like, you know, he
Mhm.
w- he was he was pushed too far, and he was like defending himself.
Yeah.
He didn't mean like the first guy he did not mean to kill intentionally. You know,
Mhm.
the other guy he killed, he was put in a corner. He made a snap decision, and I don't know. Do you think that was the first time he ever killed
Nah,
people?
nah,
You think he had already killed people
he
before?
he had already done it before.
Okay,
And like and
but
you'll
he's
see,
learning how. He's
yeah,
learning how.
yeah, but you'll see like it's been around his
Okay,
life.
so the other what is the other planet he lives on? So
Right?
he goes back. So the other planet he's staying on with his adopted mother Marva.
Mhm.
Um, he's trying to keep a low profile there. It seems like he's well acquainted with people around this sort of like this slum-like town he's living in. But
Mhm.
but he's already getting around, and like he's stealing equipment.
Mhm.
He's doing, things he shouldn't. And but killing these two corporate security goons uh gets the attention of, who is it? Kyle Solar as Cyril, who doesn't want to let this go.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what sparks this whole sort of storyline. Because Andor kills these guys trying to find his sister, and now Cyril wants to hunt down and capture and arrest Andor against the orders of his superior, his corporate security superior. And that kind of just brings a lot of trouble to Andor's home. And now he meets a contact of his ex-girlfriend, Bix Kayleen, who works at a salvage yard,
Mhm.
who is Luthen Rael, played by Stellan Skarsgård. And Stellan Skarsgård is mm, he's not Rebel Alliance, but like he's like
A mercenary, I would say.
I guess he's a mercenary at this point, like acting against the Empire.
Mhm.
And he sees that Andor has skills, and he wants to recruit Andor, who's not looking, and Andor is not looking to join sort of like some sort of partisan guerrilla front or Saw Gerrera, but he gets wound up with Luthen, and that's sort of the first 3 episodes. So corporate security going after Andor, Andor meeting Luthen, and reluctantly joining and getting caught up in what will become ultimately the Rebel Alliance. So this is, even if the Rebel Alliance already exists now, it's in its infancy. Like it's in its very earliest incubation.
Right.
So we know there are like anti-imperial dissidents and people like Saw Gerrera, but they're not organized yet, and so this is like before the Rebel Alliance really gets going and organized.
Yeah.
This was a little provocative at times because you had all that stuff with Bix Kayleen, and she has a boyfriend, and her boyfriend is ticked off because she clearly still has a thing for Andor. Boyfriend doesn't like that, so the boyfriend, I'm going to report this guy to corporate security. That brings corporate security to their home turf, and now they're hunting after everyone. That subplot I didn't care for.
Yeah.
What did you think?
It continues into the story of how they get to know and how
It was so predictable, though.
Well, yeah, of course. It is predictable, but you kind of know.
That guy, he's gonna get jealous, and he's going to tattletale on Andor.
But somebody's gonna tip it off, and it's like, who else are you gonna have tip it off?
I don't know. I feel like they would have found him regardless. They were on his,
because
he wasn't covering his tracks.
Well, and also too, Cyril is kind of a kiss ass, to be honest. When you really think about it, his character is kind of like he wants to prove to somebody or to himself what he could do, and he's kind of going above and beyond.
I don't like Cyril either.
Yeah, he's kind of like, because
he's a try hard.
Yeah, he's like almost a goody two shoes. Like he wants to do everything like what should be by the book.
He's a goody two shoes for Nazis.
Yeah, and even his superiors.
I'm sorry. Should I not say that? He's a goody two shoes for the Imperial jerk offs.
But like even his superiors are all like, it's nothing really to look at. These are guys who shouldn't even have been there.
His superiors seem more pragmatic because, the guys that he was basically like, the guys that Andor killed were jerks, were a-holes, and they were unpleasant. They probably instigated the fight.
Yep.
And they were ready to sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, and they weren't supposed to be there at that.
Because they're not supposed to have brothels.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So that's like he takes it on himself.
I do like Stellan Skarsgård in this show, and I like that he's playing a good guy. I mean, he has played it like, benevolent characters before. I feel like we don't see that from him very often, though.
No, we don't.
I guess in the Marvel films, that's kind of one exception.
Yeah,
but it feels like he's normally a heavy, isn't he?
Yeah, he usually is.
Okay, so now he's actually playing like a pure good guy who's really out to strike back at the Empire. He's looking to recruit guys like Andor, guys who not just have like the skill, but like the will to to get it done, kind of thing. So that's interesting. And I guess what struck me, like, they really pushed the gritty, realistic style in a way I don't really think we've really seen before in a Star Wars project. Not even Rogue One, I think.
No, because I think Rogue One was more about hope. This is like the beginning stages of when it's gritty. It's
bleak.
Not like things. Unless you're in the upper echelon of the galaxy, you're good. But if you're in the lower levels of the galaxy, Like you're really struggling.
Now we didn't see anything too provocative, but there was some provocative, risque stuff with Adrian Arjona. What did you think of that?
Oh, I was fine with it. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't that.
It wasn't explicit, but I was like, wow, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
It's stuff you never saw in Star Wars.
It's not the type of material we normally see in Star Wars, but this is a more like it's more. It feels more like
But you can't tell a story like this and keep it.
no,
all.
no, I don't. That part I didn't mind so much. But it feels more like an adult drama.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they even have their own version of coffee now. They called it calf.
Yeah.
You have calf. That's again why
that was something that they instigated at the theme parks too, at Olga's Cantina at Disneyland.
Okay, so that's kind of more why it felt like a cyberpunk thriller to me, because the language, the rhythm, the way they talked, it felt more like cyberpunk, just with all the slang mixed in, the way it's worded, and just seamlessly flows with all the regular dialogue. It felt more like a cyberpunk, especially with the music and like set design.
Yeah.
Thoughts on B2, his droid buddy?
I think it's something that I still need to see about with him, but I mean, it helps transition and helps move the story along, so I think it's pretty good.
You think his sister is still alive?
No.
Oh,
I think he may be.
Here's what I think happened to them on Kenari. So, the way I interpreted this is that they're like a bunch of families went to this planet for mining, a mining job. They died in the mine, and all the children became orphans. So that's why it's just children, and all the parents are dead. So I'm assuming, or there are no parents. So I'm assuming all their parents died in a mining accident, or just because of greedy, corporate people, just neglecting their workers, kind of thing.
Yeah,
is what I think was happening. Do you think that's why it was just like this, like Lord of the Flies things going on with the kids?
I think so. I think it was as well. I think it was them mining for kyber crystal,
something like that.
Like that's what I'm thinking.
But do you think that was pre or post Empire?
I think that was post Empire.
Okay.
I think because this is where you're starting. Because I think when they're still building,
because if it's 5 BBY, and if the mining accident happened 10 years before, I guess that's still kind of post Empire.
Yeah.
My time. I
and
don't ask me to like look up all the specific years. I can't keep track.
It takes time to build that Death Star, so and they needed a lot of kyber crystals for the weapon.
So I imagine there was some, the Empire started this mining colony. All based on like what they were saying about his background, and it sounds like all of them died. Only the kids were left to fend for themselves.
Yeah,
and that's why the kids were by themselves on Kenari.
Yeah, which I like that backstory. I like how it jumps back to see.
Now, do you think they were on Kenari first, or do you think they went to Kenari so their parents could be miners?
I think they went to Kenari. They weren't there first. I think some of them were born there and others were brought. I think Cassian was.
I think we will. I disagree with you. I think we are going to see the sister somewhere at some point. Maybe not right away, but I think eventually he will find his sister. Maybe she won't live through the series, but I think he will reunite with her at some point. It just seems like that's like that'll be like one of the ongoing sort of conflicts, the hero searching for his sister and whatnot.
I think maybe we'll see it at episode 12, and now we'll continue to the next season.
I think the other problem is that this is not a lot of these first 3 episodes were a slow burn. We didn't really get much in the way of action until that 3rd episode.
Yeah. But also
There's not a
too,
lot of action in these episodes.
yeah, but also too, it's a good setup because it really does tell a little bit more of his background, who he is, what he's going through, and you're
The
kind of seeing it where it's going to lead.
the acting is not my problem. I think the acting is pretty good for the most part. I think my problem is more some of the editing choices and just the flow. And again, I would have just connected these 3
Mhm.
together and just made one.
Yeah.
And then this
Like
is
I think you may
pilot
be,
movie, pilot movie.
yeah, because I think you may be right on that one because you couldn't leave this episode by itself at all.
Right.
And those 3 connected into one long story would have worked even better.
I'm assuming that's what they did at the premiere, right?
No, yeah, they showed all 3 episodes all at once. They didn't connect them.
Now, did they have the credits between the
No, it went straight into the
right?
the title.
Didn't that work better for you?
Yeah. Oh, that's why when I saw it that way, that's why like I like the series. I like the way these 3 episodes are,
Right.
but it did play off better connected than
That's what I'm saying.
it did because it's this is necessary to tell his story.
Right.
And without
So I
that,
think if you connect it and just have one episode this week, just one really long, like mega episode.
yeah.
I think you fix a lot of the problems
Mhm.
and like, okay, yeah, it's a bit of a slow burn in the middle, but you build up to this really big action-packed finale, at least. Kind of like Rogue One.
Yeah, because it's kind of like you get the story, you get the slowness, and then you automatically go into where you're getting into the meat and potatoes right after that episode 3.
Didn't see a lot of I feel like only a few aliens here and there. Not a
Yeah.
lot of aliens in this show so far that are in like featured roles.
Yeah, I think we'll see more in the future. But
Um,
not yet.
but yeah, like visually, production values, they really, I think, hit it in a way that just Kenobi couldn't quite get to most of the time.
Yeah.
And Kenobi did have its moments, I think, visually, but just Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett just weren't quite as visually ambitious as this show, I think.
Yeah. This one I just love the way it looks. I love the feel. The writing's good.
And I like that kind of brooding, kind of like minimalist, like synth electronic score.
Yeah. And that's the one thing, like when you see it all at once with just straight through,
Mhm.
I see where like that would be it would have hit off with an even bigger bang than I think it's gonna.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they released all 3 instead of 1 episode because I think if it would have just been that 1 episode, it would have
been bad.
yeah, because of the editing. It would have been a different take altogether. That's why I'm glad they released all 3.
Did we see any Imperials in episode 3?
Oh.
I'm trying to remember.
None.
I think we don't see we don't really see the Imperials until
Later
until
down.
4.
Yeah.
But we know Imperials are coming.
Yeah, they are coming. So
was Marva married to that other pirate she was with? His mother, his adopted mother. It's not his real mother, his adopted mother.
I don't think so. At least it doesn't seem or come across as that. But I think that will be told more, I think, in the
That boyfriend was such an idiot. What an idiot. What a stupid idiot, as Chris Jericho would say. I thought the community is interesting though.
Yeah.
Like their whole town, when the corporate security morons started rolling in, it seems like there were people like Andor had like friends there who clearly cared about his well-being, and like then they started that whole where they were banging, they were like sounding the alarm.
Yeah.
They were banging the pans and everything. Like they had this whole city alarm system. And I thought it was kind of cool. Like when Marva was taunting that corporate security officer, he's like, "Oh, when it stops, like something bad is going to happen." Basically,
Yeah, that's when you should worry. And
kind of,
like,
I don't know. It kind of felt like a Game of Thrones type of moment to me.
yeah, and
It's
that's
kinda,
what I think it's
kind of eerie.
That's what's cool is because it's kind of like a tight knit community. They're
Yeah.
protecting each other.
So
And
that was well done in episode 3.
Yeah, and also too, it's kind of that sense of the beginning of the rebellion.
I'm missing K2SO, who I don't think we're going to see until season 2 probably.
Yeah.
But at least they got a droid represented in the cast with B2.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, QSO we're not going to see till, I agree with you, second season, and then we're going to see how that came about.
right. So, and hopefully it'll be Alan Tudyk
Mhm.
once again playing the character.
Mhm.
So we get to see how K2SO got with Andor.
Yep, exactly.
And that'll be good because K2SO, he's really funny and he'll really liven things up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's going to be good. I think this series is going to be something worth watching. Episode 4 is next week already, so
I think we don't even really get to the best stuff with Stellan Skarsgård until next week, really.
yeah.
But he really, like, I think Stellan Skarsgård is a decent actor, but he hasn't impressed me
Mhm.
like he's impressed me in this show in a long time.
Yeah.
Like he does some really impressive acting work, like beyond just this being a Star Wars show.
Yeah.
Like what he gets to do in this series, like, and he's like he's a very like likable good guy, which is weird because again, it's not very often you see him playing like a likable good guy, other than that one scene in Thor where he's talking to Coulson. He's like, steroids. He likes to work out. Kind of he was good in that movie.
Yeah. But we're going to be here every Tuesday through November 23rd. So,
what are you doing to me?
telling you.
And we're not even done with She-Hulk. Let's just do Willow too. We'll do it through the holidays.
Well, yeah, we're going to do Willow as well.
We'll bunk up over the we'll have Thanksgiving dinner here.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not?
That's what it's going to do.
We'll have turkey legs during well, actually, yeah.
The 30th is a week after.
Some leftover. Some Thanksgiving leftovers during Willow. There you go.
Get a break for Thanksgiving, and then we have
the
week after.
Fantastic. All right.
There you go. But to wrap it up, what would you grade this 3 episodes?
Oh man, see, this is kind of the thing. So I'm gonna do just the 3.
Mm-hmm.
For just the 3, 7.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going with an 8.
Okay. Good.
I just like the way it started, and the score probably would have been different if they only released episode 1, like they were planning.
I would have scored higher, but it had a really flabby middle to me. Mm-hmm. Started strong, ended strong. If it was a little more balanced, I would have scored it higher. But a 7.5 out of 10 is a good score in my book.
Yeah. Yeah, and an 8 because I just like the story. I like the way the story started.
And we have a very good cast, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of the cast, especially Adrian Arjona.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. Like, I love the fact that this feels like something different that we haven't seen before in Star Wars.
Yeah, and that could be a mixed blessing for some people because everyone's got
a kink,
and
when it comes to Star Wars,
everyone's got like everyone's very opinionated when it comes to Star Wars and what it should and shouldn't be.
Yeah, but
I'm with you that doing something different like this, a different style, different feel, works in this show's favor.
Yeah.
Now, will it stick the landing?
We don't know.
We'll find out in the next couple months.
Yeah, exactly. And what she say in comparison to everything that we've covered before, this will be a couple months.
We got 8 more episodes to go, but technically 9. But
Yeah.
we've already seen we've seen next week's episode.
Yes, we have.
So.
Which good thing there's a break because I got to see it again because by that time I'll probably need another watch anyway.
I don't think you're allowed to watch it anymore, right?
No, we're not allowed to watch it anymore. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to wait till next week to watch it.
There was some drama I recall about people watching stuff before today.
Yeah, there was, but we don't have
We're
to.
not.
We
We don't have to.
the
It's
rules.
got nothing to do with me, brother,
Exactly.
buddy.
We follow the rules. So that's why. But how can they find you? What
All
can
right.
you do to see what's
Once again, it's the J to the E to the double F -E. I'm Jeffrey Harris. You can find me on Twitter at WheelJack83. Check out my reviews and my D23 coverage at 411mania.com, if you please.
And here at Muse, we got a lot of things going. We got 2 new channels now, Destination Extended, which is going to be a part of our theme, an extension to our theme park show that we're working on. So you can check that out now. We're putting stuff up every week with Halloween stuff. That's going to be what kicks it off. In addition, if you want to support the channel, don't forget to hit the super chat, super thanks, or even help us with Cash App. We're making a lot of changes for Muse and Muse TV for 2023. And all that support will help out. And we're going to be adding memberships to YouTube. And we'll explain that later as we go on. And also, before we leave, don't forget, tomorrow, come back, join us at 11 p.m. Pacific, 2 a.m. Eastern Time for She-Hulk Episode 6. We'll be back live. And with all that, we'll see you tomorrow for the She-Hulk watch party and after show.
Destination unknown, Ruby Soho.
Exactly. See you next time.
Thank you.